Hi, I'm Natalie, and this is So Hungry Hippie. Today I'm going to show you how I create headbands. Now, I didn't make this one, but I did take apart a headband that a lot of you commented on, and we're just going to make it up ourselves so that we can do this. Now, first up, we have headband blanks, and these matter because if you get a style that is too tight, it's really uncomfortable. So I'm just going to try this on like I did at home. Very comfortable. So I know that when I add my fabric, which I'm going to be using teal velvet, I know it won't be too tight because there's nothing worse than a headband that squeezes your head. We're also going to do this little sort of turban little wrap. You might think it's separate, but it's not. It's all one piece. All right. Okay. I'm going to put on my spectacles and let's get going. I'm going to take you overhead. First up, you want to download the pattern piece and cut it out as best you can. Now, mine is not perfect, as you can see, but it doesn't really matter. See these little butts? We're going to fold it right sides together and align the edges. Now I am using this teal velvet. Let me show you. You're going to get 8,000 headbands out of a piece of this if you get it in my store. This is from SoHungryHippie.com, of course, and it's called teal velvet. It is not the vinyl teal velveteen roll. It's not that one. It's the velvet fabric. Okay, and I'm just going to use these clips to help hold my layers in place so nothing moves around. You really don't have to worry about the nap direction on this because it's a headband. It's not something you're wearing. So just ease up on any pressure on yourself. We're going to sew this long piece together, but we're going to keep a portion of this end open so that it's easier to turn. And I will be using my loop turner. Now, I'm using Gutermann thread, like I always do. I'm going to, oh no, I can't tilt it anymore. Gutermann thread, and I have this on a 2.5 millimeter stitch length. And here we go. And I do have my Microtex needle on, but I could sew this with a universal needle. I'm just not ready to change it yet. I'm using my foot width as my seam allowance. It's sort of a narrow foot, so this is about 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now, if you think that you might have trouble turning this, I want you to know that you can always leave a gap in the center of the tube if turning the tube from one end is too difficult for you. That is an option. All right, so here this is. Now, you can absolutely turn it like this. I just stick my finger in there and pull. It's not hard. It's not very long, so it is pretty quick. All right. Now I'm going to use my easy point and press tool and go down, scrunch all this up. Because I want to make sure to get the ends out. All right. So there is that. I probably left too big of an opening, but it's okay. It's going to be fine. Now, see that seam? You can hardly see it. You can barely see that seam. But as we shove this onto the headband, you want the seam on the underside of the headband. So I'm going to be scrunching this up here. Not all the way yet, because we're going to do a loop-de-loop. So now I'm down at the end. And I'm going to grab it with this clip. I'm grabbing the headband and the fabric. See how cute you could make this with a little scrunchy look? Okay. So now this one is in here. And we're going to tuck in all the edges. You know what? I think this calls for double-sided sticky tape. My best friend. I'm just going to place it around one of the edges. So that turning it under is it's easier. Oh, I guess that flew off. I can use that. Use every last little centimeter, inch, whatever. Okay. Now I'll turn in this side. Turn in this side. Now remember, in tutorials, I use a white or gray thread a lot of times, usually white or even light pink, because I have to make it so you can see what I'm doing. But you will switch to the color of your material, the thread, and stitch this up. So I'm just closing the opening. You may need to get your stiletto to hold the layers in place because it is a small little section. Okay. Oh, I didn't catch that. That's okay. Good enough. Trim threads. Now, I want that sort of scrunchy look. Isn't that so cute? So what I'm going to do is get out my fabric glue, and on those ends, let me go overhead. On those ends, I'm going to place some glue down here. I'm going to place glue right here. For this demo, I might use a hot glue gun. But you don't want to use that if you want it to last a long time. You actually want to use E6000 or Beacon fabric glue. And we're going to make sure that it's all scrunched. I'm down here hitting the end. And you're going to glue the very last inch and a half, this much. You're going to glue those in place. Glue, glue, glue. Don't use too much, because too much glue, weirdly enough, is not better. And then the same on this side. We're going to feel that headband and fold in that last inch and a half to 2 inches and glue it in place. And then your headband will look like this. A nice little scrunchie. How cute, right? So I'm going to find my glue and glue these, and I'll be back. However, don't go just yet, because I'm going to show you another style of headband. Okay, I'm going to use another blank. I'm going to get my fabric. I'm going to cut this out on the fold. Here's my pattern piece for now. You will have a download, don't worry. I like to rough cut my piece out first so my fabric isn't pulling and dragging across the whole table. And then I need this side to stay on the fold. So you will just see me come in here and cut this side out. And what I love about this is things don't have to be super perfect. It still works. All right, so now I've got this. And we're gonna do the same thing. However, we don't slide this onto the blank headband. We have to do a special way of connecting it with glue to make it work. Flip it over, make sure you've got all your edges lined up. You can also use pins on this fabric. Here, I'll use pins on this time. That one was too short. And now's your chance. If you didn't catch a rounded corner or something, you can come in and snip it out. Okay. Let's sew this one together. If your seam allowance is kind of big, like mine is here, I'm just gonna trim it down a smidge. Less bulk. You know what, I forgot to show you a little trick. I'm gonna show you my little pulling trick. Let me get cord. You can use ribbon for this trick, you can use rope, you can use a fabric scrap. It's really fine, whatever you want to do. I'm going to use this cotton cord. I'm going to sew it right here onto this edge. Oop. Okay, I'm going to shove that inside. Now, I should have done that on this edge, but I didn't. So we're going to make this end the open end now. Okay, so this end is open and I'm going to reach my hand in here. I'm going to grab that cord. And as long as I get it started, it won't rip out. There it is. Okay. But you can't just yank like crazy. You got to get it started. Okay, now we'll take this guy out. There it goes. Let's get all of our seams out before you close it up as well. Before I close it up. Why am I talking like that? Again with the double-sided sticky tape. This doesn't curve, so you have to stop and start with the tape. Push it down. Now I have an open end down here too, but I haven't pushed this seam allowance out yet. So instead of reaching in with my tool like I did earlier, I'm going to show you another way. You can always pop it out with a pin, very gently. But now I've got to close this end up. So let me put some tape down here. Every time I use this tape in a tutorial, I get comments about it sticking or gumming up my sewing machine needle. It does not do that. It's made for this type of application. So maybe it was another brand that caused somebody some trauma with that, but this by Annie brand that I sell in my store does not gum up anything. Okay, we're closing the whole thing. We're not sliding this onto the headband blank. All right. Remember, your thread will just melt in because you'll use a matching color thread. Mine isn't bad. Mine's gray and you still can't really see it, can you? I'm going to go all over this one. These ends, don't worry about making it look spectacular because it's going to get lost in what we're doing next. So please don't worry about it. Okay. So now we've got a piece like this. All right, I've got my seam down here. I'll just leave it down there. That's the way it wants to lay. And now I need to get my glue, and we're gonna continue to finish this. When you fold this over with the glue, you gotta put your clip back on. Make sure that the clip does not come in contact with any glue, or you're gonna fight to get it off there. You don't have to squeeze. Oh my God. Really? Train, don't you know I'm trying to do a tutorial? All right, there we go. Okay, so that's gonna sit. I'm just gonna get a little bit more in there. I can't wait to wear this. This is such a pretty color. There's that one. Okay, let's head over to this one. Okay, start on the headband, and you don't want to do much squeezing, okay? Let the glue come out. One little section at a time. I really need somebody to hold this. There we go. And we're gonna wrap it. I just got glue on my tape. Don't tell Ramel. You want to cover the headband. You know, you might need a practice run with this. And what we're going to do is work our way up. But here's the thing, in the midst, in the middle, I'll mark the middle. We're going to wrap it. Right about there. So we're going to keep coming up. Here we are at the halfway point. If your headband is not wide enough, you can always tuck this under and you'll just add a dab of glue in here, okay? You can cut it down as well. I like my headbands on the wider side. It just feels better for my head, less pressure because there's more area. So I know this is messy looking, and it is. It's a messy project, but it's so satisfying. Now we're gonna wrap it around on that top knot. See that top knot? All I did was a wrap. Let me show you again. Here we are. Coming up and through the headband, and you can manipulate the fold to make it stand up more like that. And then you'll keep gluing down this side. You really can't go wrong. Remember, somebody's going to be wearing this, so there's less pressure than you think. The one thing I will say is don't pull on your headband too much because you can snap these little plastic bands kind of easily. So just be gentle, just give it some time. Go. I should have wrapped that again. I have way too much here. Let me see if I can fix it. Wrap one more time. There. I want it to kind of stand up too. There we go. Perfect. It needed a triple wrap. Oh no. If you feel like you don't know what you're doing, don't worry, I don't either. Join the club. So good. Good. Okay, there we go. Now you will have to put these clips on so that glue can set. Some of the innermost spaces just need a little extra zhuzh help. Doesn't help that it's super hot in here either. All right, I'm gonna let it sit and then I'm gonna manipulate this wrap portion a little more. Smush it together. It's gonna be great. Remember to trim any threads. And you really want to try and cover those ends. So a little glue and then wrap the fabric over it. I'm gonna add a clip so it learns what I want it to do. That's why I like these big jumbo clips, because they can handle this thickness. Okay, put the cap really tightly back on your glue. I keep mine in a pouch. That's where I put it, so that the air doesn't get in there. I mean, it does a little bit, obviously. It's not a vacuum, but it's better than just sitting out in the open. Okay, I'll be back in a few with results. Okay, and now for the next day reveal. Oh, that feels nice. It's fun, right? You can make it in all different kinds of fabric. And here's the one with the top knot that I didn't quite center. Oh, it looks kind of centered on my head. Okay, that works. So there you have it. Have fun, explore, create. I know you'll come up with even better stuff than I did here. So just keep sewing, keep pushing that envelope, and I will see you soon. Peace up, sewing.